Shadows by the Bridge. Chapter 3. The rain had eased into a light mist by the time Uduak and I stepped out of Mr. Colony's office, but the air still felt heavy, clinging to my skin. Ikoyi streets buzzed with the usual chaos, Okodas weaving through traffic, hawkers shouting over the hum of generators. I barely noticed. My mind was stuck on Susan, Felicia's assistant. If anyone knew who T was, it'd be her. She'd been Felicia's shadow at Colony and Company, always trailing her with files or typing furiously on her laptop during late-night strategy sessions. Felicia had mentioned her often, smart, loyal, a little shy. I'd met her once, briefly, at a farm event. Small frame, big glasses, a quiet voice. She'd seemed harmless then. Now, I wasn't so sure. Uduak nudged me as we walked back to the reception. You think this Susan girl will talk? People get tight-lipped when it's about someone who's gone. She has to, I said, my jaw tight. She worked with Felicia every day. If there's a trail, it starts with her. The receptionist called Susan down, and a few minutes later, she appeared, still small, still bespectacled, but there was a nervousness in her now, a twitch in her fingers as she adjusted her blouse. Her eyes darted between me and Uduak, like she was sizing us up. Frank, she said softly, her voice almost lost in the lobby's hum. I heard you were asking about Felicia. I'm so sorry, still. She was amazing. Thanks, I said, forcing a nod. I need to ask you something. I found a small phone. Felicia had it hidden. There's a contact, T, and messages about meeting by the bridge the night she died. Do you know who that is? Her face froze, just for a split second, before she blinked it away. A phone. I don't know anything about that. Felicia never mentioned it. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. Susan, please. You were with her all the time. She trusted you. If she was meeting someone, you'd know. Who's T? She swallowed hard, glancing at the glass doors behind us like she wanted to bolt. I don't. Look, Felicia had a lot of clients, okay. Big names, private people. She didn't always tell me everything. Maybe T was one of them. Clients don't text, don't tell him on a secret phone, I snapped, pulling Felicia's phone from my pocket and holding it up. This isn't work. This is personal. Tell me what you know. Uduak put a hand on my arm, easing me back. Easy, Frank. Let her breathe. Susan's eyes widened, and she took a step back. I swear, I don't know who T is. But there was something. A few weeks before the accident, she started acting strange. She'd take calls outside, lock her office door sometimes. Once, I heard her arguing with someone on the phone. She sounded scared. Scared. My stomach twisted. Felicia didn't scare easy. She'd face down crooked judges and shady businessmen without flinching. What did she say? I couldn't hear much. Just her voice. Sharp, like she was fighting back. Then she hung up and told me to cancel her afternoon meetings. Said she had to handle something urgent. When was this? Uduak asked, his tone ascendancy leaning in now. 3 days before she died, Susan said, her voice barely above a whisper. October 20th, 2022. My blood ran cold. 3 days before the accident. Whatever she was tangled up in, it was closing in fast. I gripped the phone tighter, the weight of it pulling me deeper into the unknown. Did she mention anyone specific? I pressed. A name, anything. Susan shook her head, but her eyes flickered again, guilt, maybe, or fear. No names. But she did say once that she was in over her head. I thought it was just stress. She was working on that big land dispute case, you know, the one with the politician's family. It was messy. The land dispute. I remembered her talking about it, some high-profile case involving a powerful Lagos family and a chunk of prime real estate in 6. She'd been excited at first, but toward the end, she'd gone quiet about it. I'd assumed it was just the pressure. Now, it felt like a lead. Susan, I said, softer this time, if you're holding back, I need you to tell me. For Felicia. She bit her lip, then leaned in close. I don't know, T. But after she died, someone came by the office, a woman. Tall, dressed in encore top and trouser, didn't give her name. She asked for Felicia's files, said it was urgent. Mr. Colony gave them to her. I thought it was weird, but I didn't ask. A woman. My mind raced. Could she be T? Or someone cleaning up Felicia's mess? Either way, I had a new thread to pull. Thanks, Susan, I said, pocketing the phone. You've helped more than you know. As we walked back to the car, Edoja whistled low. This thing's getting deep, Frank. Politicians, mystery women. You sure you're ready for what's at the bottom of this? No, I admitted, staring out at the misty streets. But I'm not stopping now. Felicia's fear, her secrets, they were mine to unravel, no matter where they led. The mist hung low over Lagos as Edoja and I drove back from Ikoyi, the city's skyline blurring into a grey haze. My mind churned with what Susan had said, the argument, Felicia's fear, that mysterious woman who'd swept in after her death. It didn't add up, not yet, but every word felt like a shard of glass cutting closer to the truth. The Felicia's phone sat heavy in my pocket, a silent taunt. T was out there, and now this woman was too. Were they connected? Was she the one Felicia had met by the bridge? Edoja broke the silence, his voice cutting through the hum of the engine. You think that woman Susan mentioned is T? Showing up like that, taking files, it's bold. Maybe, I said, gripping the steering wheel. Or she's someone covering tracks. Felicia's tracks. If she was scared, like Susan said, then whatever she was into was dangerous. Big enough for someone to swoop in after she was gone. He nodded, drumming his fingers on the dashboard. That land dispute case keeps popping up. Politicians, money, power, Lagos eats people alive over less. You think she crossed someone? I didn't answer right away. Felicia had been fierce, fearless even, but she wasn't reckless. If she'd tangled with the wrong people, she'd have known the risks. Or maybe she hadn't, maybe that's why she'd kept it from me. The thought stung worse than anything else. We'd promised each other no secrets, not after the mess of my last job where I'd nearly lost everything to a shady contractor. She'd been my anchor then. Now, I wondered if I'd been blind. Let's find out, I said finally. I need to see those files. Whatever that woman took, there's got to be copies somewhere. Colony and Company doesn't strike me as sloppy. Edoja raised an eyebrow. You planning to waltz back in there and ask Mr. Colony nicely? Man looked like he'd rather swallow nails than help you. Not him, I said. Susan. She's scared, but she cared about Felicia. If I push her right, she might get me something. We pulled up to my flat in Ikeja, the drizzle still clinging to the air. Inside, I brewed coffee, black, bitter, the way Felicia used to tease me about, and sat down with my laptop. I didn't have much to go on, just the land dispute case Susan mentioned. I typed it into a search, Lagos Land Dispute 2022 Politician. Articles popped up, headlines about a sprawling estate in Victoria Island, a family called the Ogumbanjos, and a legal battle that had dragged on for months. Felicia's name was there, buried in a piece from The Guardian, Colony and Company representing the Ogumbanjo family in high-stakes property feud. No details, just the usual vague reporting. But the Ogumbanjos were big, old money, political ties, the kind of people who didn't lose fights. Edoja, I called, turning the screen toward him. Look at this. The Ogumbanjos. That's who she was working for. He leaned over, squinting. Yeah, I know them. Chief Ogumbanjo's a heavyweight, owns half of 6, sits on the governor's council. His daughter, Remy, runs the family business now. Sharp woman, ruthless too. You think she's the one who came for the files? My gut twisted. Remy Ogombanjo. The name rang a bell. Felicia was paranoid about that case. She kept digital copies on a thumb drive. She never told me where, though. A thumb drive. My heart skipped. Felicia was meticulous, her law books were alphabetized, her desk always spotless. If she'd hidden something, it'd be somewhere clever, somewhere safe. Thanks, Susan. You're sure about the woman, no name, no description. She was tall, Susan said, her voice dropping. Dark hair, encore top and trouser. Smelled like expensive perfume. That's all I got. Frank, be careful. Whatever Felicia was into, it wasn't good. The line went dead. I looked at Uduak, who'd been listening. A thumb drive, he said. You think it's still in the flat? If it is, I've missed it for 3 years. I stood, scanning the room, her wardrobe, her books, the jewelry box where I'd found the phone. But I'm tearing this place apart tonight. Uduak cracked his knuckles. Let's get to it, then. Secrets don't hide forever. We started with the obvious. Drawers, shelves, under the bed. Nothing. Hours passed, the coffee went cold, and frustration clawed at me. Then, as I flipped through one of her law books, Contract Law in Nigeria, something slipped out. A small black thumb drive, taped to the inside cover. I held it up, my hands trembling. Bingo, Uduak said, grinning. Now what? I plugged it into my laptop. A password prompt popped up. My breath caught. Felicia's secrets were right here, locked behind a code I didn't know. But I'd figure it out. I had to. The woman in encore top and trouser, the Ogombanjos, they were all tied to this, and I was closing in. Thanks for watching. Next chapter comes up tomorrow. Please, kindly subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification to get an alert when subsequent chapters and other audiobooks are posted. Don't forget to like, comment and tell your friends about my channel. Thanks.